share this vision of having our brothers return home, but not empty-handed. Return home as the prodigal son. Because you know Africa is a future. We all know it. People are rushing to Africa to take opportunity. But we want to see our brothers come and take what theirs, because they have first right on whatever thing we have, including our resources. So this is the vision that we've been sharing with our presidents. They love the vision, and most of them have owned now this vision. That's why we really want to be able to make ourselves available to be of any kind of help, as long as it can help bridge this gap. I would like to, before going any further, to just say that this is an international conference.
Yes.
This is international. We have delegation from Senegal, and one of the most prominent religious leaders from Touba left this morning. He's been here with us for 2 days. Sheikh Abdul Aziz Bake Majalis, who is the son and nephew of the Khalifa General of Touba, whom we visited 2 years ago. One of the most high-ranking religious leaders in Africa and beyond. And it's also a privilege to come with a delegation from the Gambia, a high-level delegation, with our brother, Mohamed Lamin Dramé, who is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, the American Chamber of Commerce of the Gambia. We have come with another brother, Boubacar Mane, a member of AmCham Gambia, that's how we call it. And another prominent guest today, Ambassador of the Youth, appointed by His Excellency President Madibio of Sierra Leone, Ambassador Junissa. Julius Junissa is right here. So we have 3 African countries, 3 West African countries represented in this conference, which is really, really, really important, and I would like to highlight that. Without any further ado, I would like just to thank also Air Senegal, because Air Senegal, they have owned our vision. Air Senegal, they allow us to fly business for free as long as we come and visit you. And this is really important. So a shout out to Air Senegal for making this thing possible. And they are ready to make it easy for the average African American to visit Africa. We are having low rates. It's a non-stop flight from JFK to Dakar, non-stop 8 hours. And from Dakar, we fly to the Gambia, we fly to Sierra Leone, we fly to Cote d'Ivoire, because Senegal is a gateway to West Africa. So it is important for you to know that it's now easier to fly to West Africa, because we are making it possible. We want to allow the average African American, especially Muslims, to visit Africa at least once in their lifetime. This is what we're working on with Senegal, and hopefully we have their support, we have their mandate to definitely make it possible. So also thank one of our partners who were able to make it. Brother Elai Mustafa Job, and he definitely sponsored the culture team that was supposed to come and perform. He sponsored, he put $15,000 only for the visa fees for them to make it possible. But Allah has said otherwise. But we thank Allah for that, because we are well represented today. Alhamdulillah. We thank ASPT, we thank the governor of Senegal, and this new president. Before I give the floor to my brother Mamadou, we are experiencing an unprecedented wind of change in West Africa. As you know, 400 years of slavery, maybe 100 plus years of colonialism, and 64 years of colonialism, because we gained independence in the early 60s, in 1960. But the French didn't want to leave us. They never wanted to leave us, because if French loses their influence on Africa and control over those former colonies, they'll be moving from the 6th world economic power to the 26th. So you can imagine, it's not easy for them. But anyway, we are getting rid of them. In Senegal, we were able to elect an unapologetic, as you would put it, president, the youngest of our history, 44 years, with a new vision to restore our dignity, to make sure that we profit, we benefit from our resources. And Allah has been the best of planners. He has always been the best planners. We are starting oil and gas mining this year, next July. Can you imagine if this oil and gas was discovered 50 years ago, the French would have put their hand on it. But Allah said, no, I'm going to keep it until you guys are ready to get rid of France, to put it back in your hands. So we have this president with a new vision, and people of African descent are an option, a dependable option for us. If we get rid of France and any other, Western powers, it is important that we have options. And we don't see on this earth people of genuine interest to come to Africa and develop the country, because you, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora of people of African descent, you coming back home, you take what yours. We'd rather you come and take the resources and do whatever you want than to see France or any other country come and just, how do you call it, pick and go? Yeah, they pick and they go. So we want you to be well aware of that. Africa is the future. Africa is waiting for you. We are ready. Now, with this technology development, information is right there. No one can fool us anymore. We were misinformed and miseducated about our brothers and sisters here in the US. Gangsters, rappers, drug dealers, that's all we see on TV about you. But now with the internet, we're able to know what's going on real time. That's why it's high time that we stood up and get this thing done. As Imam Muhammad would put it, remake the world. It's high time to remake it. So I would like to bring forward now my brother, with no transition, Mohamed Lamin Drame, just to share a few words after we're going to allow our brother Julius Junissa to come and share a few words, because this is all West Africa. So, brother, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. I'm thankful to be here. It's a blessing to make it here. I told my brother yesterday, the devil is a lie. I came into the United States. I lived here, by the way, for 23 years. Went to Morehouse College. As a young Gambian, as an athlete, a student athlete, because I've always wanted to be a student athlete, where we are not only going to be looked at as a sportsman who come to America and just do sports, but I wanted to make sure that I get my education and go back home. Going back home, Bashir, I think you are being really nice and put some little icing on the cake, a little bit, and make that cake a little bit sour on something that you left out. I think you are being nice. The miseducation and the misinformation that they portrayed within us and within our community in America is a strategy of the divide and conquer. Yes. They went further to tell you, the brothers and sisters in Africa, don't accept you as Africans. And they will tell you, they will tell us, oh, they don't act like they're Africans, they don't like Africans, right? Because they knew something, knowing that the way forward and the empowerment, they were afraid that if we come together one day, we collaborate, we strategize, and they'll leave us, they leave our shores, because they will pick and go, and now they don't have nowhere else to pick and go. They were afraid of the power of togetherness as brothers and sisters coming back to Africa. I believe that God brought us together today. I believe that Allah put us under this, under one umbrella today. So that's why I say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen to meet my brothers and sisters over here today. I'm the CEO of the American Chamber of Commerce, and whenever the name American Chamber of Commerce comes in, they know that the Gambia has to be, that chapter of the Gambia has to be the bridge to collaborate, to come reach out to our brothers and sisters over here. But one thing that is happening is that those who couldn't make it here due to visas, they're afraid again to know if they expose our sisters and brothers here, they're going to be so powerful because of the knowledge and the wisdom that they're going to have over here to take back, to get ready, empower themselves to welcome our brothers and sisters back in Africa. So moving forward, we are not going to let the devil stop us. We're not. What we're going to do, we're going to continue to collaborate. We are going to continue to conversate. We are going to continue to strategize. We empower ourselves. Nobody will come and do it for us because this has been started way back. They saw it coming. They know if we collaborate, we work together, we network, the power that we are going to have, nobody else can stop our brothers and sisters. The way I knew about Morehouse College, unfortunately, was through a movie called Boys in the Hood. I was very young in the Gambia, and I watched the movie, and Brother Bashir said it best. The portrayal was all about black people are gangsters and drug dealers, they kill each other. That's when they made the movie, right? But they didn't see the wisdom at the end of the movie, where the young black man who came from a very good home, a good father figure, and they educated him. At the end of the movie, he went to Morehouse College, and the girlfriend went to Spelman College. I don't know if you all can remember that part, right? So I said, okay, I did Black History Month, and Martin Luther King came up. He went to Morehouse College. I don't know if many of you know that. Martin Luther King is a Morehouse man. I said, okay, another Morehouse. I watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. See Morehouse College on his sweatshirt. I said, another Morehouse College. Then Bill Cosby show, Morehouse College. I said, I'm going to Morehouse College. So what my wisdom today is, there is something that I saw as a young man from a very poor family. I'm the only male child from a family of 8 siblings. I have 7 sisters. I'm sorry, brothers. If you have 7 sisters in one house, I'm sorry for you. You get a lot of love, though. But something helped me out of those women that surrounded me to become a man. They made a man out of me. And Morehouse College made me a man of Morehouse today. What do I do with that? Do I just go home and empower myself, enrich myself, and be okay in Africa? No. I came to a historic black, a prestigious, historically black institution who make boys into men. And what do you do with that man now that you are? You have to give back and pay forward. I am making sure that the wisdom, the intelligence, the wealth that I have generated from my family, because this is my family. They took care of me. When I say family, you all know what I mean. Okay? When I say brothers, you all know what I mean when I say brothers. This is my family, and it's very special to me. And I also want to welcome my family to my home. I welcome you all to the Gambia, and I'm proposing today, unofficially, and I hope we can make this thing happen. I want to have the NBC in the Gambia. We also have a summit as soon as possible to show you also what that is. On that note, I thank you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Thank you, Murul. I mean, this is just wonderful. We're gonna make it happen, inshallah. We're gonna make it happen, inshallah. The next NBC conference on the continent will be held in the Gambia, and inshallah, we'll make it happen. I have a mandate to expand NBC throughout West Africa, we're going to start with the Gambia, inshallah. Okay. Lady Basima, Madam Basima is here, and I want that to be put right there on the notes that we're going to have the next NBC conference on the continent in Banjul, the Gambia. Thank you. So now I would like to introduce our brother from Sierra Leone, from Salone. That's my second home. I'm a Saloman by adoption from the village of Panguma, and I was adopted by the Mende community, and they gave me a name. My Mende name is Balwa. Balwa means fear not. So I'm not afraid anyway. So Janissa, would you mind coming? This gentleman has been touring the world. He just came from a UN meeting. He is on his way to Nairobi, Kenya. He is leaving Monday. But he could not leave the US without coming to see you because you visited his country and his president appointed the first Muslim African American ambassador, Wadi Shamsuddin. Okay. That's why it's an obligation for him to be here. And I would like just to say something about the conveners of Imam and digression. They invited me last year at the Orlando conference as a speaker, and we definitely since then been working. They opened the office, I think because of our relationship, okay? And we are going to host a delegation, a scouting team in June, last week of June, inshallah. And we also want to host the Conference in Senegal. We want to welcome the 170 imams in Senegal. And our brother Nourdin, please, a round of applause for brother Nourdin, please. He's been working night and day with me to make that happen. But Allah is the best of plans. We're going to have this trip before Ramadan. Election came in Senegal. It was not really, safe to do that. And Ramadan ended. We're now looking at June, inshallah. May Allah make it easy. And I'd like to thank the conveners, Dr. Bashar, Ali. I would like to thank him and all the conveners, especially my brother Nourdin, who introduced us to these conveners. And inshallah, you will see your mates, your colleagues in Senegal when you come, inshallah. So we look forward to you. Thank you so much. Tunisia.
Good morning. Good morning. That's the energy. I bring you greetings from His Excellency Retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Madabio, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone. I bring you greetings from the people of Sierra Leone, and in particular so our able Ambassador Shamsuddin, who is a special envoy in trade and investment to the Republic of Sierra Leone. It is my utmost honor, second time in a row, to be here with beautiful family, because I consider you as family. The first opportunity was when we were all in Senegal. We had very, very thorough engagement, and then to have you come to Sierra Leone with an official delegation to visit my president was very, very heartwarming, and the approach in which consideration was given towards diversifying investment opportunities within the Republic of Sierra Leone. So I'm here to further buttress on the existing plans of His Excellency the President and the government of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is a land full of opportunities, ranging from the Atlantic, where we have touristic features and available beautiful beaches for touristic investment. We have the mining sector, as you have seen in the video, where we have intense artisanal and large-scale mining operations ongoing. We have fishing activities, which is also another major economical vessel, mainly run by the Asian family and the Asian community and the Chinese. These are all opportunities I'm bringing today to your full knowledge, because we want our African brothers, we want your diaspora families to come back home and take lead in your property. It belongs to all of us, and it is more formidable that if we consolidate ourselves, our resources, and rally around ourselves as a family and go back to Africa and be the change we want to see. We all have seen the trajectory and the change in the recent operationalization of coup d'etats within the Francophone member states. We see how they rally around themselves, how they're coming together to consolidate themselves, to develop their nation. we can do the same here as diaspora members. Africa is no longer waiting for the West. We have been subdued for a very, very long time. And in the process of being subdued, we have learned a lot. We've seen that the continent can only move further to where we want it to be by us. I had the opportunity to address the United Nations General Assembly a couple of days ago. I'm just coming from Harvard yesterday, wherein I was fortunate to share a platform at the Harvard University Kennedy School with Her Excellency, Madam Fatima Biu. Our message is very clear. Africa must be developed, Sierra Leone must be developed, but you, the Africans, must take the lead. We have seen the scramble of Africa from the West. Now we have Asia intervening with the Chinese funds. These resources can be galvanized within these communities in the same manner, in the same approach, and divulge into sustainable investment opportunities that will boost economic growth for yourselves as investors and the nation back home, because you're not only creating a sustainable ecosystem, but it will be a financial mechanism that can create amplified jobs, the very jobs that we are crying for, the very economic growth that we want to see. We see in demographic and statistical reports the billions of dollars that we pour into commercial products. We, the Africans in America, are the highest consumers of clothing lines, are the highest consumers of Nike shoes and other brand. Imagine an African man running that particular franchise. Imagine that particular brand being expanded across 53 member states. Thank God for AFTEC. The AU has got a free intercontinental free trade agreement. If you're in Gambia, I'm in Sierra Leone, we can see how we can export. If I'm doing palm oil in a farm, I can come to Senegal and export it and sell it across ourselves. But we must first start the process amongst ourselves. We must learn to buy from ourselves. We must learn to invest in ourselves. That's what the Chinese are doing. That's what the Indians are doing. We have the population. The youngest population amongst the 5 continents, the youth population, is coming from Africa. But yet still we have so much brain drain. We see how our brothers and sisters are dying at the Mediterranean. If the diaspora is open-handedly ready to work with us back home, we are very much ready to work with you. The lands are there. The minerals are there. We're now no longer waiting for somebody from another part of the world to tell us what to do. We're now telling you, this is our property. You want to work with us? Come and make it ours. Thank God for Air Senegal that is promoting sustainable tourism and traveling facilitations for us Africans. Before now, we never had direct flights from Sierra Leone to the United States. I was able to cut my trip very short and effective for me to come through Air Senegal. If that wasn't here before now, I could have been in Europe waiting for a flight for more than 10, 15 hours. Who do you complain to? Nobody. You get scrutinized as if you're a criminal through immigration, but we don't reciprocate such treatment to them when they come to our continent. It's time for us to reverse the wheel, but to reverse the wheel with the consciousness that we're doing it to develop ourselves. It's Africa for us. It's the land of the brave for us. So all of the psychological mechanisms that have been put in place by the Western nation, we appreciate. We were able to learn. It took us a time. We had slavery. We have so many. I told them yesterday at the Harvard meeting, COVID was a blessing. It was a reset button for the entire world, for us to see our nakedness and see how can we come together and do something tangible. The United Nations, year in, year out, we have meetings, we have resolutions, we see the current situation. Because of a conflict in Ukraine, we cannot eat properly back home in Africa. Do you know what it means for you, the diaspora, to have been controlling fertilization manufacturing for us? We won't have the situation we're having. So these are the things we're exposing to these communities. These are the opportunities in every challenge that we face as a continent or as a member state. It's an opportunity. We have little or no infrastructure back home. Come back to the continent and put up infrastructure. Recently, Jarul was in Ghana, the African-American artist. He established a school. Idris Elba is also transforming one of the island areas of Sierra Leone, Bond Island to be precise, where the president, His Excellency, is coming from, to a new city. It's a project, it's a movement, it's a process. It's currently ongoing. I'm fortunate, after Kenya, because I'm going to Kenya next week Wednesday for the UN Civil Society Conference, I'm going to South America, Antigua and Barbuda, for the SEEDS Conference, which is a small island nation conference. I'm doing a side event at that meeting to talk about Africa and talk about how to develop island states within the African region. Nobody is doing it for us. Nobody is doing it for us. So it's time that we all take these little efforts, these baby steps, consolidate them as a unit, because that is what we lack, unity. I don't want to know if you are from the East Coast or the West Coast of America, as long as you're black, you're my brother. I don't want to know if you're a descendant from Gambia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, as long as you're black, you're my brother. That's the unity, that's what the Chinese have. That's why they're in numbers. It's the power, and it's applicable. We see the infrastructure and inroads they're doing in Africa, but we know the tremendous impact of the debt left behind. We have generations unborn who are going to face conditionalities of IMF and World Bank that they cannot stand. So, in order to mitigate some of these global implications that may deter our development as countries, as member states, as a continent, it is time we appeal to our conscience. We as Africans, let us take it into action. Gaddafi tried. He died in the process, but he did something. Museveni, the late man from Tanzania, he tried. He also died. Kwame Nkrumah. We have so many of them. Let us keep going on. We have Martin Luther King for the American population. He's an iconic figure to relate with. For Sierra Leone, we have Madam Yoko. We have so many trailblazers. We don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the educational curriculum to tell us about our past. Have you ever wondered why? Somebody will come and tell you need to study Latin instead of me learning an African dialect. What am I doing with Latin in Africa? Have you ever wondered why an Anglophone will find it difficult to communicate with his own brother because he's speaking French? Look at us, Sierra Leone, Guinea. 80% of everything that is imported in Sierra Leone comes to Conakry, Guinea. So when they had a situation, our president was very proactive to go meet the gentleman, despite his military. We don't have a problem with you, sir. We are families. This is Africa, these are countries. Let's push these two member states going forward. And they continued in bilateral relations. We see the continuation of trade between Sierra Leone and Conakry. So these are the things we have to stand out and say, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? I'm happy for Senegal, for them to have somebody at 40 as commander-in-chief. That is Africa speaking to the rest of the world. We're no longer waiting for you. We are no longer waiting for you. We have been complaining for too long. We have been criticizing for too long. So now it's time to compliment. And I want to compliment the National Business Council. I want to thank you for your bold move. For you to come to Sierra Leone, for you to come to Africa, I'm very grateful, sir. I'm pleased to have your delegation the last time when you came to see His Excellency the President. It was so surreal. For you to go to the mining site and see what people are doing, the poor road, the mosquitoes, the malaria, despite all those challenges, you went there. That is what I want to see from diaspora family. Because that's what the Chinese are doing. The Chinese goes into our forest, you don't even know what they're doing. They're there. How can you find a Chinese man in the thick of a forest? He's not telling you about malaria, he's not telling you about vaccination, but he's there. He's doing something. The particular thing you're looking for is what we need. We need to empower ourselves economically. We need to empower ourselves intellectual-wise. Information is power. That is what has been the tool that has been controlling the entire world. What are we doing with the African Development Bank? What are we doing with the Islamic Development Bank? These are infrastructures and mechanisms there for us as Africans. How many times have we walked up to those banks and asked questions that are integral to development of the continent itself? If we have the African Development Bank, we have the ECOWAS Bank, we have all these instruments and other local commercial banks. I don't know about those here in America. I believe we can galvanize and do something. We can control the narrative, because that is what has been the key, the narrative. Oh, COVID-19, Ebola, civil war. Who is killing who? That's the reality. When I go to conferences, I go off script. I tell you the fact. Because everybody wants me to come and tell you how ugly the continent is. When I was in the UN, I told them that. It's so beautiful. You come to Sierra Leone in December, it's lively. I was telling my brother just now about the beautiful touristic sites of the Peninsula coastline. You can see somebody jump into the water because you're a foreigner and he likes you. He goes into the sea, gets you clean raw fish, and then prepare barbecue for you right in front of you on the peninsula. Any of the peninsula resorts, you can get that kind of facility. We love foreigners, we love tourism. But we don't know how to consolidate ourselves as Africans. Because I speak French, this man is speaking English, we can understand ourselves, somebody feel inferior. Complexity does not improve or move us further. It has been a mechanism to control us. The narratives of barrier language, we have broken all of these now with transatlantic. You have told us about your development. We've seen, we're going to Asia. Some of us are flying there. We see what you're doing in Asia. We see what you're doing in America. Africa, what you taking all the resources you develop in your nations is coming from us. When Niger held their Nicanite and some of their minerals, we saw there was a blackout in Paris. Yes. Do you know what that means? That was Africa speaking. That was we speaking to power. Why would you want to tell me as an African, I need to have my foreign reserve in another man nation? Not even on my continent. Do you see the reverse psychology? No, it is not safe in Africa. Who told you your money is not safe in Africa?
Go ahead, brother.
Who told you? Who told you your foreign reserve, you have tons of gold being exported? Another question my president asked recently, we had some people from Israel. They want to come establish a polishing school. I spoke with a few at the United Nations, so we want to, at the women's conference, the CSW, we want to teach women to do polishing, but they have to come to New York. And my Minister of Gender said, with all due respect, if you want to educate our women in polishing diamonds, you know Sierra Leone for diamonds, come to Sierra Leone, establish a facility, there we have the land. Everything is available there. It's a mechanism. It's the approach. That's what the Jews have been doing for centuries. That's why they feel and know that they cannot be touched by no other nation. Psychology. So we have our brothers and sisters, our kids coming up. What are you teaching them? If you don't know what you own, nobody's going to tell you. I know who I am. I'm always carrying my beads and a regalia. People tell me, why aren't you in suit? Why should I be in suit? It's not my cultural dress code. You go to India, you see the woman dressed in an African and an Indian attire. You go to China, you see the Chinese woman dressed in an attire. I am in my African attire. I'm speaking true to my black power. We need these elements to imbibe in our everyday culture. When you have this in your subconscious, nobody can tell you who you are. That's why the South Africans are very bold and outspoken. That's why Mandela could stay in prison for 27 years and yet still there's a result for what he did today. That's why Martin Luther King and others made immense sacrifice. Are we going to allow those sacrifices to go down the drain? Who told you aliens built the Great Pyramids of Egypt? Who told you that? That was the first modern infrastructure in the world. Egypt. Where? Africa. But yet they went there and convinced some of our old folks and took some of our family members as slaves. Thank God we have you coming as generational kids from that lineage. We are bringing you back home. We are bringing you back home. It is your home. It is your home. So my message here today, on behalf of the Sierra Leone population, I don't want to take much of your time. Let us take action. I'm an action-oriented person. For me to fly out from Manchester to be here this morning and flying back to Kenya, I'm not resting, viewing my thing. It's not fun. In and out of flight, going to meetings, negotiating on behalf of my country, on behalf of the youthful population of Sierra Leone, because somebody has to do it. Somebody got to get the job done. You're not, I'm already facing a whole lot of people. I tell people this. But what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself? Or are you doing it for posterity and an accountability to a nation that is deprived? I know how I felt when I saw the beautiful culture That could have been an exciting moment for you to see how we perform our rituals and our dance. But they could not come here because of a visa. These restrictions and mechanisms being put in place. How are we taking the necessary steps to revisit the framework of development in Africa? The AU agenda is 2063. The West say they're doing 2030. The UN agenda, right? We say in Africa we have till 2063 because we know the entire world is coming to us for the resources. Why should there be instability in Congo? Why should there be blood diamonds in Sierra Leone? You can never influence us against our politicians. We know what you are capable of now. So we're telling you, our family members, come back home, let's make Africa great. It is time for us to change the narratives. The sectors are wealthy. Sierra Leone, we have fishing, for instance. It's being controlled by the Chinese and the Koreans. They're poaching the seas at night. Recently, the president had to put a stop to control that. We could not even eat our own fish. Now when the president came, we have a hub. We have about 20 acres of land, which is mainly for storage of fish. Anybody that is fishing in Sierra Leone should drop their fish there. Then we package. Those who want to export, we have the companies, we have the packaging now. They're exporting. Recently, there was a sardine company launched in Sierra Leone. It is baby steps, but we're making move. Action. 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 That's what we're asking. We're not asking you for $100 million. If you have $100,000, you have $10,000. Start with what you have. Little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
He made it late tonight. He arrived 12:30 a.m. And I had to make sure that he was really picked up at the airport, checked in his room. But definitely, I'm glad and proud I was able to do that. So these are the people, the young people you have on the continent Africa. He is really representative of our youth. We have millions of his kind on the continent. We just need support. We just need a genuine partnership. We need the brotherly partnership. And the best option we have is you. I would call it a Hobson's choice. There's no choice at all. We have to consolidate ourselves. So thank you, Janissa, for your speech. Brilliant. We pray Allah guide your steps and protect you and make you one of the leaders that we always wanted to have on the continent in the future, inshallah. And Allah will answer our prayers, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We are confident for that. For the visa, don't worry, I have a plan B. When they said, oh, they're going to give to all of you visa, we're going to only give one to you, but this happened to be the producer. So what we said was, well, I'll be flying with a costume, and I will do my casting and take African American brothers and sisters to rehearsal and do the performance. And this will be next month, inshallah. We always have a plan B, plan C, plan D, plan Z. Because this is it. When you deal with people, you have to be ready. You have to be flexible. You have to be ready. You have to be agile. It is important. So don't worry about that. Inshallah, we'll make it happen. So I'm going to pass it on to my brother, Nordin. Thank you for hosting us this morning. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
This has really been something, just to see the video itself, and then have you all here with us this morning to share with us the future, the possibilities of the future, where we are right now, and what it can look like tomorrow, if we take some action. We are ready here in America to do that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad started us, started moving us in that direction, extended these hands across the Atlantic. Imam kept us conscious and aware of it. David K. went over there, took Aisha with him for the paper. Paper showed us what was going on. And this thing is moving, and it's going to continue to move, you know. And now the conveners now are connected to the continent. This is all the imams here in the U.S. are connected because of this convening body. So we're looking forward to this lead delegation going over there in June to connect with you all, see what we can share with you all, what we can, you know, how we can help you all, how you all can help us. And Bashir Sheikh has already told me, he said, look, man, you're going to be busy. So I'm looking forward to it. So let us keep it moving, and I think we will. And God knows the future is very, very bright.